We all know that the Haunted Mansion has more than 999 ghosts, right? In honor of the very best month, I wanted to take a second and talk about the very best Disney ride and all of the spooks who aren't supposed to be there. So anything but family friendly isn't really Disney's brand, so a lot of these stories are kind of hush-hush unless you're in the know. Plus, they do a lot of mixing between Disneyland and Disney World, which is a big problem for a lot of people. I apologize in advance, but I'm going to tell you what I found. First, let's talk about the man with the cane. The man with the cane is often seen riding alone in the doom buggies late at night, often when there is a lull between guests and operators are alone. They're not even paid enough to deal with living guests, let alone. Most describe him as being gaunt, very stoic and serious looking, and always having a cane over his lap. Some say that it might be Yale Gracie, one of the Imagineers behind the Haunted Mansion, and the inspiration for the name Master Gracie. But I feel like if your entire life was devoted to creating magic and you built something as iconic as the Haunted Mansion, you're gonna crack a smile. Like, every year in California, Disney's pastry crew noticed that one single shingle was missing from the Haunted Mansion gingerbread house. So now the team always leaves one out so it won't eat the actual house. Little less wholesome, but there were stories of hair ribbons being untied, jumbling props, people being touched, and just general eerie vibes that make cast members not want to go to work. In Disneyland, a woman was said to spread her son's ashes throughout the ride, leading to stories of a little boy crying, and this unsubstantiated, albeit very unsettling photo. This is the grittier side of the Haunted Mansion, because that woman was not the first person to spread ashes throughout a Disney park, and she would not be the last. From what I read, it's so common for people to sneak in ashes in Ziploc bags, mint tins, probably a big gulp or two. The cast members allegedly are trained to recognize human remains in order to stop the ride and get it cleaned up. Yeah, it's not technically a biohazard, but if no one is allowed to die at Disney, I feel like being dead is also against the rules. According to the Wall Street Journal and several people that I've talked to, an incident like this is called a code HEPA, which refers to the special vacuum for bones that they use to dispose of your loved ones. Somehow, the threat of being kicked out doesn't really deter people. People spread ashes on lawns, in flower pots, in the moat, but the Haunted Mansion is a fan favorite. One custodian was quoted saying, "The Haunted Mansion has so much human ash in it, it's not even funny." It may seem a little strange, and I'm sure it feels a little strange as you're sitting in the dark in Pirates of the Caribbean with a little handful of your loved one ready to say goodbye. But one woman who snuck in her mom's ashes said, "Instead of going to a grave, I go to Disney." And I think that's pretty neat. And before you ask, dazzling daffodil designs. I'm going to tag her below.